You don't remember deciding to become quiet. You don't remember a moment where you consciously said, "From now on, I'll disappear." It happened slowly, so slowly that it felt natural. You learned to lower your voice before anyone asked. You learned to read the room before you read yourself. You learned that silence had weight, and that weight could protect you. Because every time you spoke too honestly, every time you asked for too much, every time your emotions took up space, something subtle happened. A look changed, a tone hardened, a door closed, emotionally, or sometimes literally. So you adapted. You became the child who didn't cause problems, the teenager who didn't explain themselves, the adult who feels everything, but says almost nothing. And here's the paradox that defines your life now. The very thing that once kept you safe is now the thing keeping you stuck. Silence protected you, but it also trained your nervous system to associate expression with danger. So even now, when no one is yelling, no one is threatening, no one is watching, your body still tightens. When you're about to speak your truth, you rehearse conversations that never happen. You swallow words that deserve air. You feel deeply, but you live quietly, and part of you still believes, if I stay small, nothing bad will happen. If I stay quiet, I'll be safe. But safety has slowly turned into isolation, and survival has quietly replaced living. What you're experiencing isn't shyness, it isn't introversion, and it certainly isn't weakness. It's conditioned silence, a trauma-adapted nervous system response. In psychology, this pattern often emerges from chronic relational threat, not single traumatic events. When a child grows up in an environment where emotional expression is punished, ignored, mocked, or destabilizing, the brain adapts. This is where hypervigilance begins. Hypervigilance is not constant fear, it's constant monitoring. Your nervous system learns to scan for microsignals, a shift in mood, a sigh, a raised eyebrow, a pause that lasts too long. Your brain becomes an early warning system, and to avoid triggering those threats, the safest strategy becomes silence. Neurologically, this rewires the default mode network, the system responsible for self-referential thought. Instead of asking, "What do I feel?" your brain asks, "What is allowed?" Over time, this creates a form of self-abandonment, not because you didn't care about yourself, but because caring openly felt dangerous. This is also closely tied to avoidant attachment, where closeness is associated with risk. You may crave connection, but expression feels like exposure, so you stay controlled, contained, quiet. Think of it like this. Your inner world is a vast ocean, but you were taught to live like a submarine, deep, pressurized, unseen. You survived by staying submerged. But here's what no one tells you about silence. It doesn't just mute pain, it mutes joy, it mutes desire, it mutes identity. There is a grief that comes from never being fully known, an invisible grief, because from the outside, you look fine, but inside, something aches. Carl Jung once wrote, "The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parent." But there's another burden too, the unlived life of the self. You sacrificed authenticity for belonging. You traded truth for tolerance. You learned to be acceptable instead of real. And the core fear underneath it all, not rejection, not conflict, but the fear that if you fully speak, something bad will happen. So simple moments become complicated. You want to ask for help, but your chest tightens. You want to say no, but guilt floods your body. You want to express anger, but your voice disappears. You don't feel unsafe mentally. You feel unsafe, somatically. Your body remembers a world where silence meant survival, and so you carry an ancient burden into a present that no longer requires it. This pattern doesn't vanish with age. It evolves. You might notice it showing up like this in relationships. You avoid difficult conversations until resentment quietly builds. You'd rather endure discomfort than risk conflict. In your career, you're competent, reliable, overlooked. You do more than you say. You hope someone will notice instead of asking to be seen. With boundaries, you say yes when your body says no. Then you feel drained and ashamed for feeling drained. Emotionally, you intellectualize feelings instead of expressing them. You analyze pain rather than share it. Internally, you gaslight yourself. It wasn't that bad. Others had it worse. I'm just too sensitive. In moments of intimacy, you go quiet. You freeze. You disappear just when closeness deepens. These are not personality traits. They are coping strategies. And healing begins not by changing them, but by witnessing them, by saying, "This silence once protected me." It makes sense. No shame, no force, no self-betrayal. Just awareness. Healing does not mean becoming loud. It means becoming honest. It begins with reparenting the part of you that learned silence, the part that believed safety was conditional. This is where inner child work matters. You learn to offer yourself what you never received. Permission to speak, permission to feel, permission to take up space. This is also where shadow work emerges, reclaiming the anger, the needs, the voice you buried to survive. And slowly, gently, your nervous system learns a new truth. Expression is not danger. Presence is not punishment. Being seen does not mean being hurt. The goal is not to erase silence. Silence can be sacred. The goal is choice. To speak because you want to, not because you're afraid not to. To be quiet because it feels peaceful, not because it feels necessary. As philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once implied, the task of life is not to become someone else, but to become yourself. And you were never broken. You were adaptive. You were intelligent. You survived now. You get to live. So if this resonated with you, if you felt seen in the quiet spaces between these words, know this: you don't need to be fixed. You need to be reclaimed. And that journey begins the moment you stop disappearing from your own life. If this helped you name something you've carried silently, consider sharing it. Someone else is still surviving quietly, believing they're alone. They're not.